Hello engineers, welcome to the new video of the course, and in this particular video we are going to understand that why exactly we are using IR sensors when it comes to line follower robot. Okay, so as you can see over here, I had just taken one diagram from Google. So you can clearly look over here that we have two IR sensors. So this is the first IR sensor and this is the second IR sensor. So remember one thing, when I talk about IR sensor, so IR sensor has two major components in it. IR sensor has two major components in it, that is transmitter and receiver. Let me just write over here transmitter is sometimes also referred as emitter. It's one and the same, so don't worry about that. Transmitter is also known as emitter, sometimes it is referred as emitter. So transmitter or emitter, and the second component is receiver, receiver. Okay, transmitter, first component is transmitter, okay, and the second component is receiver. Great. I hope you understood this particular part, that IR sensor has two components, that is transmitter and receiver, which we are going to connect it in our project, that is line follower robot. So as you can see over here, let's assume that this is my car or the robot, and this robot has two IR sensor, as you can clearly look over here. And by the way, if you can look over here, this is what, this is my top view. So this is my top view of the car. That means you can clearly look over here, this is my car, or the chassis, what you can say, where I'm going to place my controller over here, okay, and the entire hardware stuff over it, okay. So over the chassis, so this is also known as chassis, over which we are going to place all the hardware component, okay. But as of now, don't focus upon the hardware part, just focus upon the logic, okay. So you just see over here, in front of the car, we have connected two IR sensor, one to the left side of the car and one to the right side of the car, okay. I hope you are able to understand this particular part. Great. Now we will focus upon the working of IR sensor, that how exactly IR sensor works, okay. So for that, let me proceed further. Alright, so you can clearly look over here, this is my IR light, this is nothing but this is my transmitter. So this is my, let me change the color first, we'll take maybe this one, yeah. So this is my transmitter, and this is my receiver, okay. This is my receiver, I'll just write over here, this is my receiver, okay. This is my receiver. So as you can see over here, this transmitter is a device which transmits certain light energy. As of now, we did not to worry about that you know what exactly would be the wavelength of this particular light and all. That's that's not the point of our concern. We should just focus upon the idea or the logic behind it. So this is my transmitter, it is transmitting certain light energy, alright. But as you can see, there isn't any object present over here, okay. So this particular light energy, it will move in the further direction only, okay, and it will never ever come back, okay. It will never ever come back. This particular light energy, it will move further and it will get scattered and it will get lost, okay. Great. Now you just focus upon the second diagram. So again, this is my transmitter, this is my transmitter, and this is my receiver, this is my receiver. You can clearly see over here, this time I have certain object in front of this particular setup. So you can clearly look over here, this transmitter, like whatever the signal this particular transmitter it is emitting, right, this transmitter, it is transmitting or emitting certain light energy or certain signal. This particular light energy or signal, it is getting reflected back from this particular object, and as soon as it is reflected back from this particular object, the receiver is receiving this particular light energy. I hope you are able to understand this. Again, we'll quickly revise how exactly it works. See, a transmitter is a device which transmits certain light energy or certain energy. Forget about light. It will transmit certain energy, right? Now, what is a receiver? A receiver is a device which will receive this particular energy, okay. But in both of this particular scenario, you can clearly look over here that there isn't any object that is placed in front of this particular setup, right? So that's why whatever the energy that is being produced by this particular transmitter, it will get scattered and at the end it will be getting lost in the air itself, right? But now let's suppose if I had placed certain object in front of this particular setup, so whatever the energy that is being released by this particular transmitter, okay, so it will be getting or it will be received by this particular receiver, okay. I hope you are able to understand this particular part. So that means what? So the basic idea of this IR sensor is to detect certain object. Okay, so what is the idea, or why exactly we are using this particular IR sensor? So now let me move the entire thing to the left side. So let me just write over here, IR sensor is used to detect certain object. Okay, detect certain object. Okay, I hope you understood this particular idea, that why exactly we are using IR sensor. But now you will ask me, sir, when we talk about a line follower robot, so what is the object over here? The object is the floor, obviously the ground. Okay, where your car is moving, the car is moving on the ground, on the surface of the ground, right? So this is the ground, right, or the floor, whatever you want to say, and over that particular floor, your car. So this is my car or robot, whatever you want to say, just drawing it roughly. So over that particular surface, your car is moving. Either it will move in this particular direction or it will move in this particular direction. And let's suppose you had connected the IR sensor somewhere over here. Let's suppose you had connected the IR sensor somewhere over here. So what this IR sensor will detect? Obviously you cannot connect IR sensor above. Okay, if you connect it above, so above you will get a, like, there won't be any object present above, right? Let's suppose if you are connecting this IR sensor below, that is transmitter and receiver below, so what is going to happen? You know, it will try to detect the floor. Okay, I hope you are able to understand this. It will try to detect the floor, or it will try to detect the ground surface. So for that, you make sure that your ground surface or this particular floor, it is purely white in color. I'll come to this particular point, that why exactly it needs to be white in color. So for that, let me proceed further. See, if you look over here in this particular image, by the way, this is my transmitter. In real world, this is how it will look like. So this is my transmitter, and this is my receiver, right? This is my receiver. I'll just write it in short form. Again, this is my transmitter and this is my receiver. Okay, so you look over here, this object is yellow in color, and you know whatever the energy that is being emitted from this particular transmitter, it is striking onto this particular object which is yellow in color, and after that it is getting reflected back, and whatever the energy that is being reflected back, it is being collected by this particular receiver. Okay, but now if you look over here, let's suppose I have certain object which is black in color. So what is going to happen? So in this particular scenario, you can clearly look that this is my transmitter, right? This is my transmitter. This time as well, it is transmitting same energy. Okay, it is transmitting same amount of energy. But if you all guys have learned the concept of, you know, that the black body absorbs the energy, absorbs the light energy or absorbs the energy. So this is what it is happening over here. So the black body or the black surface, it is trying to absorb, or rather it absorbs almost 100% of the energy, and none of the energy is getting reflected back. Okay, so this time your receiver won't be able to receive any energy which is being transmitted from the transmitter. Okay, again I will repeat. See, let's suppose if you are transmitting the energy on the white surface, maybe on red surface, maybe on blue, green, any kind of surface apart from black surface. So you know, whatever the energy that is being transmitted by this particular transmitter, okay, the energy would be getting reflected, or the light would be getting reflected by that particular receiver. Okay, on contrary, if you are transmitting certain light energy to this particular onto this particular black surface, so the black surface will actually absorb all of the energy or all of the light energy. Okay, and it won't allow any energy to be reflected from it. Okay, so your receiver won't be able to receive anything. Okay, I hope you are able to understand this. So with this, like by using this particular logic only, we are actually designing a line follower robot. Okay, by using this particular logic only, we are going to design a line follower robot. Okay, I hope you are able to understand this. Now how we are going to design it, so don't worry about that we are going to see in the upcoming video. But now let me just show you the idea about the IR sensors. Yeah, so this is how IR sensor look like. So this is your receiver, this is my transmitter. So let me just write over here, or let me just check if it is mentioned over here. Don't worry, I'll just provide you the link of this particular site. You can actually check out the images and all. So yeah, you can clearly see the receiver, and if you look very clearly that the LED that has been used for this particular receiver, it is black in color. Now can you guess the reason that why exactly this particular LED, which is the receiver, it is black in color? The reason is quite simple. Let's suppose there is certain object present in front of this particular IR sensor, right? So the transmitter will transmit certain light energy, and that object, assume it to be blue in color, that object will provide the light energy of certain wavelength, right? So to make sure that whatever the energy that is being reflected back, okay, it should be catched by this particular sensor, right? So if you look very clearly over here, this particular sensor, it is intentionally made black in color so that whatever the energy that is getting reflected from the object, all of the energy should get absorbed, should be getting absorbed in this particular sensor. So that's why it is intentionally made black in color. I know most of the students, they ask me this kind of silly doubts, that why exactly this LED is black in color, like why exactly the receiver part is black in color and the transmitter, it is light in color. So the idea of transmitter is to transmit the light energy, but here comes the important role of transmitter, to transmit the light energy. Okay, so by making it black, okay, or by making the LED black in color, I mean the outer surface of this particular receiver black in color, we ensure that the loss of light energy would be negligible. And more amount of light energy, or almost 100% of light energy which is reflected back from the object, it is getting into this particular LED. Okay, and then further processing part is happening. Don't worry about that, we are going to see that. Okay, so that's the reason that why exactly it is this particular receiver LED, it is black in color. Okay, I hope you are able to understand this. Okay, so let me erase all of the thing now. Yeah, you just have a look over here. This is my transmitter, this is my receiver, right? Or as I mentioned, the transmitter is sometimes referred as emitter. Okay, this is op amp and all, don't worry about that. Okay, so when we talk about any sensor, so let's assume this is my sensor S. Obviously that sensors required certain supply voltage, positive voltage, and then it requires certain ground as well. Okay, it requires grounding part as well. And like why we use sensor, because that sensor will sense certain things, and then it will provide you certain electrical quantity. It can be a voltage, it can be a current, it can be anything. So this is my output, right? This is my output terminal. So basically when we talk about any sensor, not necessary that all of the sensor would have only 3 terminals. Some might have 4, some might have 2, right? It depends upon sensors. But if you look very clearly on this in this particular sensor, that is IR sensor, you can clearly see that over here we need to provide certain power supply to this particular sensor. That means we are talking about VCC. Let me bring it little above. Just a second, let me bring it little above. Let me erase all of the thing. Yeah, you just have a look over here. By the way, this is my transmitter, this is my receiver. Yeah, just have a look over here. We need to provide certain external power source to this particular sensor, that is VCC. Okay, it can be plus 3 to 5 volts. It can be plus 3 to 5 volts. Okay, then there is one ground. Obviously we need to ground it. Okay, and there is one output terminal. So whatever this output that this particular sensor is providing, we need to connect it to the controller. Okay, so this particular part, that is the output terminal, it will be connected to the microcontroller, that is 8051. Okay, so your sensor will give the output from this particular terminal, and you can clearly look over here. This is my output, this is my ground, and this is my VCC. Okay, great. I hope you are able to understand this particular concept. Now let me erase all of these things and we will just have a look on the GIF of this particular working of this particular sensor. Yeah, you just have a look over here how exactly it is working. See, there isn't any object, so it is not detecting. See, there isn't any object, so it didn't detect anything. But as you look over here, it detected a certain object. It gave this signal to this particular receiver, and you see, yeah, you see, you will receive certain high voltage over here, which indicates that you got certain output from this particular sensor. Just have a look at how exactly they had connected this particular sensor. So this is my output terminal, which I had connected to the oscilloscope, just to see that what result I'm getting. Right? Let me erase this. So this is my Vout. This black color wire, it is nothing but ground. You can clearly look over here, and this is my VCC, which is my 5 volts. So basically, it needs positive voltage and negative, which is referred as ground, to make sure that it is completely in the on condition. So these two wires, it ensures that this sensor it is in on condition. So as you can see, power, why exactly it is in on condition? Because we had connected it to 5 volts and ground. Okay, but you look upon the signal, the LED of this signal, what is happening with it. Again, I will quickly revise. So you see, there isn't any, just a second, yeah, there isn't any object. So you see, signal is 0. As soon as it detected certain object, you see, yeah, you see, it is on. Okay, so this is how the IR sensor works. Okay, this is how the IR sensor works. I hope you understood that how exactly an IR sensor works. Don't worry, I had embedded the link in the PDF, and I will be giving this particular PDF in the resources section. Okay, and I'll also ensure that I'll give this particular link in the resources section, so don't worry about that. Okay, I really hope that you understood that how exactly this particular sensor work. Again, we'll quickly revise. So IR sensor has two components, that is emitter, which is also known as transmitter, and receiver, right? Now, transmitter is a device which transmits the light energy, whereas emitter is a device which whereas receiver is the device which receives the light energy. Yeah. So if there isn't any object present in front of this particular setup, so the receiver won't be able to receive any form of light energy. Whereas if you are placing certain object in front of this particular setup, so the receiver will receive certain light energy. Okay, great. Now let me proceed further. We also saw that if the object it is non-black, that means if it is if it is in white in color, maybe red, maybe yellow, maybe blue in color, so like whatever the energy that is being transmitted from this particular transmitter, so the energy would be reflected back to the, or the light energy would be reflected back to the receiver side, and then receiver would be able to receive that particular energy, right? On contrary, if you are placing a black object, okay, which is, or object which is black in color, so receiver won't be able to receive any form of light energy. Why? Because a black object, it absorbs all kind of waveform, all form of wavelengths, or all kind of wavelengths. Okay, so it will absorb all the light energies. Okay, and therefore the receiver won't be able to receive any form of light energy. Then we went into this website, and then we saw the working, this GIF, as you can clearly look over here. Then we also saw the pin diagram, sorry, not pin diagram, the diagram of IR sensor, and then we also saw the pin, that is, you need to connect a VCC and ground to this particular IR sensor, and whatever the output that is being generated by this particular IR sensor, you need to fetch it to the 8051 microcontroller. Okay, so don't worry about this particular part, that is not of our interest as of now. We just need to focus upon the power LED and the signal LED. Okay, and another thing we focused upon, that why exactly the receiver it is made black in color, that means its outer part it is black in color. The reason is quite simple, because why? Because it ensures that like whatever the energy or light energy that is being reflected by that particular object, almost 100% of the energy should be trapped in this particular setup, or it should be trapped in the receiver side. Okay, so it ensures that the loss of the reflected light energy, it is negligible. Okay, so I really hope that you understood the concept that we had discussed till now. Okay, but still, if you have any doubts, if you are facing any difficulties anywhere, it's my request to you all guys that you please ask me in the communication section. I will surely help you out there. So thank you for listening me patiently. I am ending this video over here. Thank you.